Hello, everyone. It's Tom from Linkhouse. I'm so happy you could make time to join us today. Welcome to our next Linkhouse webinar about AI meets link building after a long break. Uh, Before we dive into our conversation, let me give you a quick snapshot of who we are. Linkhouse is more than just a link building marketplace. We are your partner in planning, consulting, and fully executing link building campaigns. So, with access to over 65,000 websites in 25 languages, last year we dedicated ourselves to understanding your needs by sponsoring events like Chiang Mai SEO, SEO Estonia, and Brighton SEO. So now we are here. I'm thrilled to introduce our two expert guests. Carl Kangur, co-founder of SEO Estonia, SEO strategist and serial entrepreneur who founded his first online business as a teenager, and that was a long, long time ago. Hi, Carl.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for the
Uh,
introduction.
no worries. Kyle Roof, our second guest, also a co-founder of SEO Estonia, Internet Marketing Gold, high voltage SEO agency, co-creator of Page Optimizer Pro with a law degree, which he received a long, long time ago. Welcome, Kyle.
I think I received that longer than it was more time than Carl was a teenager.
I think it was similar stuff, but yeah. So a few words about today's agenda. After a show warm-up, we'll move on to four parts: link building in the age of AI, content and AI optimization, practical tools and workflows, and key takeaways. We'll wrap up with a live Q&A session. Feel free to type your questions in the chat at any time, and we'll reserve the final 15 minutes for it. Best of all, the authors of the top questions will win a deluxe ticket to SEO Estonia. And next two best will each receive a copy of SEO, the board game. So before we get started, stay connected with us on our LinkedIn, linkhouse.net, and YouTube channel, Linkhouse EN, for more insights. Don't forget about LinkedIn's of Kyle and Carl as well. And if you are enjoying the webinar, please give us a like and share. It helps us reach more marketers and publishers like you. So, guys, without further ado, let's start with a board view. So, guys, how has the SEO landscape changed in the past 12 months, especially with the rise of AI? And let's start from Carl.
Yeah, so it's been an interesting time, and I've been doing SEO for 16 years, and not a single year has gone by where I haven't heard SEO is dead. And I've lived through it. You know, in 2012, I had 20 sites disappear overnight, and that was one of the first times I believed it, and I was like, maybe SEO actually is dead. And this is the last 12 months for the first time. You know, some people are taking it seriously, and they're actually like, is it dead? I've been questioning it at times, like, is it going away? And I've kind of come to peace with it that it's probably not going away, or at least not as quickly as we believe. So there's definitely things changing, but some of the things I want to talk about today is how many things are actually the same, how much of it comes back down to just basic SEO fundamentals and things we have been doing, or at least should have been doing for a very long time anyway. So yeah, I'm excited for the future of it. A lot of the stuff we are doing day to day is the same as before. Some of the strategies we're using now are actually older strategies that we've kind of retired and brought back, which is really exciting to see.
Okay, Kyle.
Yeah, I would just add to that AI can't do your SEO. It can help you do your processes faster. And so what has changed for us is just taking SOPs and being able to do things a lot quicker than we could before. But we have to train the AI on what to do, because you can't just ask it to do SEO. It has no idea how to do SEO. It doesn't want to know how to do SEO. And so I think a lot of people just like to press buttons and get outcomes, and those people are as much trouble as they were before. And for them, it will feel like everything's changed only because people that know what they're doing are going to be able to do what they're doing well faster.
Okay, Carl, about the things that you just said, you also once mentioned that optimizing for AI is really just good SEO? And what you mean by that, to be precise? And does it still all come down to EEAT?
So it comes down to what Matt Diggity has said for a long time. It's do all the things. There's never really been one hack, one trick that's going to get your site number one. There's thousands of ranking factors, and now we're entering the era where it's not just Google. It's, I still like the search everywhere optimization because we get to keep the term SEO instead of all these new variations of it. But Google search is still what it has been for a very long time. It's the fundamentals of on-page technical SEO, content, and then links to kind of be the tiebreaker there in terms of who's actually the best, who's the most trustworthy. And elements of EAT definitely super important. A lot of the EAT also comes down from links. It comes down from certain things you should be doing on your on-site anyway. Do you have a terms of service? Do you have a refund policy? Do you have a way to contact you? Like all these things, which are the essentials of SEO. Now, the kind of growing part is the AI optimization part. So people are freaking out. We're losing clicks. Google's going to steal all of our content, not link back to us. We're not going to get any traffic and so on and so forth. And that's definitely a concern for many industries. But that was a concern when we first had featured snippets. Like featured snippets killed weather sites, and that's probably gone forever. Like people going to Yahoo to check currency exchange rates is gone. Google's giving that answer right away. But at the same time, 6 months after featured snippets came out, all of us were like, wait, I was number 8 and now I can steal the featured snippet and be number 0 and get even more clicks. The same thing is going to be happening with AI. So talking about how AI is the same as traditional SEO is a little bit tricky because the space is growing so fast and there's so many tools out there. So we really have to optimize for all of them. So currently we don't know where the traffic is going to be coming from. How much of it is going to be from Google AI overviews, which is largely powered by search. That's powered off Google's rankings, which means you got to rank to be able to rank in those. Then we have things like ChatGPT. So ChatGPT has several modes where some of it is the core training data, which is when ChatGPT just gives you an instant answer. But now it's also connected to the internet. So if your query is a little more complicated, or you toggle it on, you use a different model, now it's going to Bing to search and pulling from the search results. What does it take to get in the search result? Hey, it's good on-page SEO, tech, and links. And then, for Perplexity, it might be a different approach and so on and so forth. But then, even the content optimization side. So there's a lot of talk about how do we optimize for AI search, and it comes back to basic linguistics, which we're basically supposed to be doing for SEO now already. If I want to rank for the best SEO conference or that term, what is the best SEO conference, then you probably want to have that in the heading, and then you want to give a quick, concise answer saying the best SEO conference is SEO Estonia. So when you start saying things like, it really depends what you're into. If you're into this type of business, I recommend this event. Well, you're never going to rank for those types of queries. So getting those direct answers, that's something we've been doing in SEO for quite some time. There are other kind of nuances in terms of are we using first person? Are we using third person? How much data do we have? And so on and so forth. But, a lot of the essentials come back to content, links, and tech.
Okay, so what is, from your point of view, the biggest difference between content optimization on, in on-site for organic and AI overview?
The linguistics part of it, so how you structure sentences, structuring it in terms of proper use of headings, the topical depth, how deep you go, all of these things are important. And then the other part of it, I think that's going to be more important going forward, is how our search behavior changes. So now, like for the longest time, Google's been teaching us to search using keywords. So I wouldn't say, hey, I'm looking for an SEO conference to learn about link building. You would never Google that. You would search for the best SEO conferences, and then you would see which one has a link building focus. Now, when we're searching with ChatGPT and these tools, the queries become so much longer and more detailed. But then you actually see how Google, how the tools break these down. So if I'm looking for a link building focused conference in Europe, then it searches maybe link building conferences, SEO conferences, takes bits of data from each of them, and then uses different models to kind of piece one answer together to present to me. But that means I need to have content optimized for all of those mini keywords. And one basically trick we're using to optimize for these things currently is when you use ChatGPT with some of the models, it actually shows you the thinking process. So I think the user's trying to ask me for this, blah, 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 blah. You see everything it goes through, and then it actually shows you the queries it's searching for. And then you start to see patterns in terms of how it's searching for those. And now you basically get a list of super long tail keywords that you can start putting into your content.
Okay, thank you. Kyle, a question for you. Your whole way and approach are about testing and evidence. So have you noticed any major changes in how AI-driven algorithms or Google SGE behave?
So we are just right now starting to research how to get into the AI overviews, because now we can scrape them effectively. That's the biggest thing is the technology had to get up to the scraping. Now that we can scrape them, and that's a pretty new thing, we can start to analyze a little bit more. So I don't know that anybody has any secret formulas yet for showing up, except to what Carl said. It looks like it's a lot like featured snippets and like having a good H2, having a concise answer near the top, and then an answer that provides enough information seems to be what's going on there. The thing I would note about, so that's like the AI overview part. On the AI search part, though, Google still does 8.5 billion searches a day. And I think they said 150 million people go to ChatGPT a day. And those aren't all searches. The total amount of AI driven search is something like 0.27%. It's not even 0.5%. It's an incredibly small amount of actual search happens within an AI driven search engine. And do you optimize for Bing? Because they're about 6 or 7%. You'd probably be doing better optimizing for Bing right now than optimizing for any AI search, but it's because we're nerds and we live in an echo chamber of nerds, and we think that we're the only ones using it. Like your average people just are not using it at all. And so I would really be hesitant to spend a lot of time and money and resources going after AI driven search when, as Carl said, old is new. The stuff that worked before is working really well on Google. It's still all the search, and that's where all your consumers are. So tread lightly on chasing shiny objects when there's a whole lot of money still to be made in the stuff that we've been doing for years and years and years.
So a few things I want to kind of highlight here based on that as well is that we talked about the different models of it. So when we look at the most basic ChatGPT that's has data from whatever year, and this is just based on training data, it spits out instant answers. Well, this was actually, the training data is put together using a model called Common Crawl. And if you search Mozilla Foundation Common Crawl, it actually explains how this training data was put together. And it's a little bit different than PageRank, but it's still a links-based model where there's some term kind of like page link harmony or something like that. So effectively, instead of when PageRank, we look at links have different value. So Forbes is more powerful of a vote than getting a link from my site, for example. But then the Common Crawl method looks at how far away are you from seed sites, which is kind of what Google's tried to do before as well, which means getting links from super high authority, super established, trusted sites is one of the most important things for you to get in that training data. So the closer you are to the seed, the more links you get, then the more likely your content is going to be included in the training data. So if you've been doing good SEO for a very long time and you've done these high quality links, then there's a good chance you're already crushing it with ranking in ChatGPT. And then over time, that training data is going to be updated. It's being crawled over and over again all the time. So now what you can do is position yourself for that in the future. And then at the same time, the activities you're doing to accomplish that is actually you doing SEO to rank better in organic results as well. And when it comes to AI overviews, there's a case study by Duda.co, and they did a fair bit of data here. And in SE rankings research, 56% of pages linked to in AI overviews are pages from the top 100, and 73% of those are in the actual top 10. So, basically that's saying you need to rank well on organic to kind of get there as well. There are some interesting strategies we are using pretty successfully when it comes to ranking both in AI overviews and ChatGPT, and that is using all of these things in combination. So if you look at things like best SEO agencies, and you start asking Perplexity, ChatGPT, and so on and so forth, and then you Google best SEO agencies, what you're met with is a lot of listicles. So you have sites like G2, then you have some spammy LinkedIn posts, then you have some agencies where they rank for the term, they list themselves number one, and a bunch of parasite posts. And when you put the first page of Google and these listicles side by side with the AI answers you're getting, you'll see these match up pretty closely. And you'll see SEO agencies listed there that, I've been doing this for 16 years. Some of these names I've never heard of outside of seeing them listed on G2. WebFX, Ignite Visibility, Smart Sites, Titan Growth, Client Boosts, Outerbox. Like, these are just scraping parasites. And many industries that you look at, if you identify sites that have been doing a lot of parasite SEO over the last couple of years, they're crushing it in AI search as well. And there's a bunch of reasons for this, because parasite SEO, we're doing it on very high authority sites. That's one part of it. So these are more likely to be included in the training data, and they have some trust elements to it. So now you're getting brand mentions from there. You're getting mentioned in the content. So that would be kind of one angle for it. If you're doing this for clients or for yourself, parasite SEO can also help you get quicker results. So that's another plus for it. So we can start ranking in a month or two for our clients instead of waiting 9 months for their own site to get enough authority. Now, the second part of it is if we do a bunch of these, then we get SERP takeover, which means, we can have our site number one, parasites 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. So we get recommended no matter where people click. But that also means we're taking over the, what they're using for AI overviews and what they're using for training data. So more and more, we're feeding the AI using these parasites as well. And then on the content side, what we do is basically optimize for the training data. So this isn't, that's something that's going to have immediate impact. But if we do this for a prolonged period of time, and then in each of those parasites, we say the best SEO conference is SEO Estonia, well, you're basically building that language prediction model using the parasites. So building this into all of your kind of link building efforts is a pretty smart play, in my opinion.
Okay, so I heard recently that for the results to appear in AI overview, it should be organically in the top 20. Have you tested this, Carl?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
That's for the results to appear in the AI overview, it should be organically in the top 20. Have you tested this?
No. So
is that true, or you? Okay,
it's not true. So based on the research from SE Ranking, which I quoted before, 56% of the pages in AI overviews are in the top 100, and 73% of them are in the top 10. So, the top 10 gives you more chances to get in there. Top 100, you can still get there. And there is a patent. There's a patent called Generative Summaries for Search Results, which is basically AI overviews patent. And basically in that, they say that if we don't have sufficient data from this, then they can pull outside and pull in additional queries as well.
Okay. So according to stuff that Kyle mentioned about, the question for you both guys: how fast do you think GPT share in search engines will grow? You mentioned it's about 0 point something. So how do you see it?
Slow. My parents don't know it. They've never heard of it. So
okay.
And they're the classic consumer within the U.S. upper middle class. They vacation. They're online all the time, and they have no idea what ChatGPT is. So that's a whole generation gone. And then I'm in my 40s. Maybe half the people that I know will adopt it. 30s, maybe 60, 70%. But I mean, it's going to be a much younger generation. But then, do you think kids, like I have a 10-year-old, I don't know if they're going to be using it. The models are going to change so much that what in 5 years, what are these models going to look like? So I'm not going to get. I'm an old bunny. I don't get too excited about too many things anymore, and I don't hop at the first thing that comes along. So I think we're going to be okay. I don't think we need to stress out too much. I would keep an eye on it more than anything, but I wouldn't like, oh my God, we got to go out and do all this stuff right now.
No, Carl, same.
Not quite. I'm a little more optimistic for its growth.
He's a younger man. He's a younger man.
We already kind of see how fast it's growing. It's one of the fastest growing companies in history. The fastest growing company it's growing faster than the internet did, which is just mind blowing in itself. I do agree with Kyle's point in that it's going to be very industry specific. So like if you're targeting retirement homes, maybe it's gonna be you're fine for a while, right? Unless their kids start searching for it. Now, when we look at I listen to a lot of startup and business podcasts and so on and so forth. They bring in college kids and all these things, and they're like, I've heard them say like all of their friends are just using AI for everything. Like no one uses Google for search anymore, which it's kind of like one of those things we hear like kids are using TikTok to search for things. We're like, what? Well, they're also kind of doing that with AI now. And then when we see how powerful these things are getting, where I see these ads every day for kids are like learning math using AI. So or like languages. So companies like Duolingo, all these things are going to be replaced by AI. So I think really, the newer generations are basically going to be living on AI tools to an extent. You're not going to be scrolling social media. You're just like using this as your therapist, as your friend, as a place of learning, and so on and so forth. And in industries like ours, it's going to be much more common. In fact, when for Smash Digital, we don't really do SEO. Like it's pointless competing for SEO agency as an SEO agency because it's so competitive. But now we're getting to the point where AI search is a meaningful amount of leads for us. I had 2 calls yesterday from like big SaaS companies that found us through ChatGPT and Perplexity. And this is growing week over week, like super, super rapidly for us. So it's definitely something we're paying attention to more now. And we're seeing the same for a lot of our clients.
That's just my point, though. There were SaaS companies that did that. It wasn't, HVAC and plumbers, which there's significantly more of those companies than there are SaaS companies. At least the people are going to be servicing. So yeah, it's definitely industry specific for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so guys, let's move to the link building in the age of AI section, and let's get down to the specifics. Carl, are links still working in 2025? If so, what types of links are working best, or which one are not working at all?
So on this side, yes, I'm still a strong believer that links, I've been saying this for years, links are the #1 ranking factor, because I think mostly everything else in SEO is a finite game. For an SEO audit, you can't get over 100 points out of 100. There's a limit. I can't be better than that. The same goes for content. Kyle's proven that with Lorem Ipsum. So links eventually are going to be the tiebreaker, especially in more competitive industries. And in lower competition stuff, it's always a balance of the ranking factors. But yeah, links are more important than ever, I think, especially with the amount of AI spam Google has to combat. And if we look at what they're serving up in AI search, a lot of that is just filtering out the kind of spammier sites. If you look at the most cited sites in AI overviews, it's Wikipedia, it's Forbes, it's the same sites that we're crushing in search. When it comes to the link building strategies, I think a lot of the kind of older school link building strategies are going to make a comeback, and that's where I'm shifting a lot of my time. The other shift is definitely towards link quality, so getting more trustworthy links and not spam, and that comes also with the AI training data side. So like if you get a link from a high quality site that's closer to the seed sites of the internet, that link's going to count more versus, if you get DR20 link that's part of some kind of link network, no matter how high you manipulate the DR, the distance until the seed sites is still going to be really, really far. And it does seem like in its nature, it's a more reliable way to establish trust than the kind of traditional PageRank formula, which is why AI tools are using it.
Are there any things that you would do like with say the rise of Reddit, which would be, I would consider like a forum type link? Would you go after something like that now and maybe you wouldn't have a few years ago?
Yeah, we're definitely trying to diversify things like that and make use of those sites. So it does seem like now Reddit and LinkedIn and other kind of UGC sites are less present in AI overviews and this type of AI answers in general compared to before. But it's very obvious. Google made a deal with them. It's definitely being used as training data, and it's the easiest thing in the world to participate in. So when we do get a new client, new site we're working with, the minimum I do is chuck a few of the top subreddits into Ahrefs, look at their top pages. What keywords are they already ranking for? Is there anything on the first page? And then try and jump into those conversations. I'm not necessarily pushing for links there because Reddit tends to not like them. And it's a quick way to get flagged. And now it's also like when it comes to link building now, I feel like branded mentions are growing in importance. So when it comes to these sites, I'll take the branded mentions and just try to get in the training data and take the mentions.
Branded mentions are a weird thing to me in that I wonder how much, because there's not, there's a link graph where they're counting the links, right? But a branded mention being on its own, I wonder like how that graph would work in order to count. Do you think Google is counting those?
I'm not sure how they do it. On the AI side, they definitely are. So if you look at like how AI crawls things, and I've seen some kind of patent on this. I forget the exact name of it, but basically when links are mentioned, the AI engines they don't crawl the links. Any anchor text is converted into plain text. So if it's Amazon.com, they strip out the .com and they just see it referred to as Amazon. I don't really know how they keep track of it and so on and so forth, but I'm sure they've got a way.
Sure.
Okay. So Carl, tell me, what defines a valuable link today? Has the importance of domain authority, context, or relevance changed in the eyes of search engines, or not at all?
So domain authority, domain rating, whatever tool you want to use, like it's never really been about the number itself because you can manipulate it. Like we can all agree on that. And that's why people, say it's a bullshit metric, it's an Ahrefs metric, SEMrush metric, whatever. So like, sure, there are sites that are DR30 that are better than a DR50 link, but like you got to use your brain and use it as a guideline. It's like I can look at a link like DR70, it's probably good. It's probably better than a DR50, assuming I'm building high quality links to begin with. Now, the issue is that most of the industry is relying on buying links from, like just the standard list, the databases that we all have. The $30 niche edits, the $50 guest post, like the spammiest of the spammy sites where everyone is present. So those sites have the incentives to fake their metrics, to pull in redirects, to inflate their traffic, and so on and so forth, so they can sell more links. So, and these are the sites that are getting in trouble. So I've talked about this before. The unnatural outbound link penalty became a thing in around 2016, and Google's just pushing more and more of those out. So instead of penalizing me for receiving a crappy link, they penalize the site giving out the link, which means SEOs just keep wasting their time because they don't know which links are working, which ones are not. Now, when we do link building, the key thing we're looking for is sites that are very difficult to obtain links from. So sites that are not being abused by other SEOs. That means we're not in the same neighborhood with casino sites. We're not, getting spammed by tier 2 links on that domain and other kind of shady stuff. We're not getting PBNs pointed there, and also real sites are not leaving obvious patterns. If you open up some of these posts that sell links, what they do is every article is 700 words. Every article has one outbound link, and it's always an exact match anchor. Like, as an SEO who's done this for a while, you look at it, like, you can recognize the paid link in seconds. And if I can share my screen, I want to share a tool that I found really fascinating. And it is window. Here we go. So this is done by Dejan SEO. It's called linkbird.com. And this is basically a link detector. So what I did was I found one of these garbage database sites, nerdynot.com. You can see people buying like gambling links here or whatever. But at some point, this was a very popular site to buy links on, DR38. And here we have a post, influencer marketing. And you can see there's more than one link in this post. So they link to the Economic Times. They've got this influencer promotion link. They've got this Forbes article. And like, this is a very basic example. So it's very easy for us to say, okay, this is probably the paid client link. Well, Dejan built this tool where you can put in content or URLs, and it actually analyzes it using machine learning. So it cuts out the filler links and says, okay, these are the filler links, and these are the money links. And this is kind of what the tool looks like. You can put in whatever you want here. Paid link prediction tool. And this is just a normal SEO that built this tool, I think, using around 1 million links as data. And he did this with like a gaming graphics card. Like, if he, and we've run 300 plus pages through here that are super high quality. I'm talking 4,000 word guest posts that have, 27 links in there. Some are legit, some are our clients, and so on and so forth. This thing is mind-blowingly accurate. It is insane. Now, think of like what Google has in place for this when they've been fighting web spam for 30 years. Like, if Dejan was able to put this thing together. So it's really like, what are the real relationships you can build when it comes to link building? What are the real sites that are not selling out their site, and coming up with ways to get links there?
Okay, that's interesting. So the second question in that section, maybe the third one, according to stuff that you said, is every site in general, is every link from site with high DR and single digit traffic is useless?
I don't think traffic in itself is a link metric whatsoever. I don't believe in it. I've never seen any evidence for it. And there's lots of good examples for it. I think it's a very lazy kind of filter people put on because they're using the databases. So if you look at a site like Nerdynot, that's like kind of on the fence already. It's kind of shady already. They're obviously selling links. Like, sure, it's going to get penalized at some point. And if it gets 200 visitors a month, we can throw it in the trash. We can look at another guest post site that maybe has like 2,000 visitors a month. And we're like, okay, maybe they're not as spammy. They haven't been caught yet. So like, I understand why people use this as a metric, but there are tons of legitimate companies that have high DR, have incredible backlink profiles, which the entire PageRank foundation is, a link from a site is valuable because it in itself has links. Now, you can look at a site like an example I always use is user.com. So user.com is like a 8-figure SaaS company, like massive company, printing money, been around for ages, incredible link profile. And I think there was a point where it was getting 700 visitors a month on Ahrefs. And my clients were like, oh, it doesn't get traffic. It is a garbage site. I'm like, did you look at it? Like, put this into SimilarWeb. They've got 50,000 paying customers. Why are they not getting traffic then? Well, because it's a competitive industry. They're trying to rank for email marketing and CRM, which is impossible at a DR70. That's why they're not getting traffic. So SEO is not even a focus for them. Or like, if you look at something like, You go to the Berkshire Hathaway site, which is literally like 10 blue links and 0 content. Like, sure, it gets search traffic because they have branded searches, but like there's plenty of sites that don't have the brand searches, do have the links, and are real companies. So I think you really need to adjust the kind of lens of what you're looking at sites. Is this being abused? Is this an easy link to get? Is there any reason this site is a DR70? Is there a reason it gets 0 traffic? Like, can I explain this? Actually vetting the backlink profile. Like, is this DR70 from 5,000 unique referring domains that have a reason to exist and it's diversified over 30 pages? Or is there one redirect that's carrying all of this, right?
Okay, so Carl, you mentioned about parasite SEO and guest posting as a way of feeding the language models. Can you say a bit more about that?
I mean, it's as simple as that. So we're finding high quality sites to do parasite SEO. So these are not, the nerdy knots. These are not the spammy guest post sites. We try and find premium ones that are DR60, DR70 plus that are getting traffic, that are more kind of general. So most of our clients would be online businesses. We can make it work on most business related sites and find an angle to kind of write a post about it. When it comes to the content optimization, it's the same as you would do on your own site. Now, how do we get this post to actually rank? Here's, make sure the keywords in the title, best SEO conferences in the world, 2025. You have a paragraph below that says, here's our list. You speak as I or we to show personal experience and meet EAT and so on and so forth. You answer questions in a direct format. You're using a numbered list to present the list of conferences, like all of these things. So yeah, we're really pushing volumes when it comes to parasite SEO, seeing which ones of them stick, which ones of them rank, and then we do additional link building to those to nudge them up to the top. So we can do like 10 of these. We see 3 of them start to rank, and then we'll push those forward.
Okay. That's cool. And I saw a bunch of questions about the stuff that you talked about now. So we will get more into that kind of stuff later on the Q&A session. But let's move on to the content and AI optimization. And Kyle, the question is for you: how is content strategy changing in terms of structure, search intent, and language to better align with AI first algorithms?
Well, AI can help you crank out that content, but what we've learned, especially in some of the case studies that I've done recently, as a baseline, LLMs do not really understand language. Like, they don't understand contextual terms. They don't understand semantics. And so what I found is that reliance upon AI for content is detrimental if you are not prompting it enough to fill in those things with contextual terms, with semantics. And my guess is that the vast majority of SEOs, the vast majority of people that are producing content aren't really taking that into consideration. You really do need to benchmark your content in terms of the terms that you're using, where you're using them, how many times you're using them. I think most people just assume because it's a language model that the content's good just on its own, and now you're just tweaking for style, or you're tweaking for a few SEO elements, and that's not it at all. You actually have to tweak a lot so that Google can understand what this content is. So not that much has changed for me, except that I can crank out content faster. But like those people that say like, oh, my site got hit because I used AI. I don't think it was because it was AI content. It was because they put up 400 pages that Google didn't understand. And then Google devalued that content. And then as a result, Google devalues the rest of the site. And when they devalue the rest of the site, then your site gets hit. So it had nothing to do with the content being AI, generated by AI. It had to do with you put up content that Google can't understand. There's a disconnect between how Google understands content and how LLMs understand content. And because both people think that these are the smartest things in the world, and they are incredible, but they don't really speak the same language. And so you have to be kind of that bridge in between to make sure that those things are crossing over, and then there's understanding between this model and that model. But if you're not thinking about that, I think you're in a little bit of trouble.
Okay. Carl, you mentioned that optimizing for AI overviews is similar to targeting feature snippets. What are the key principles behind that approach, Carl?
It just oh, Carl, sorry.
You can be,
Yeah,
yeah.
feel free to jump in. Like, when it comes to featured snippets, in my experience, it's been a lot of just searching for what's already there, what's working, and then you just copy that. And like,
Yeah.
that's the formula we've been using for it. So if we see a SERP with an AI overview, basically pull it into ChatGPT. Here's the keyword. Google's showing this type of AI overview. Here's my page. What can I learn from this? And then it's like, oh, we can see that they're using a numbered list for this section. They've got this keyword is bolded. This is in the H2, whatever. And their sentences are structured in this way, and then just modeling off that.
Okay,
Same.
so yeah, so is it worth optimizing content not just for ranking, but also to get quoted by or surfaced by AI tools? How do you approach that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you don't want to give that to your competitors, I assume. Why give them the space? You want to take over as much space as you can. And even if it's a 0-click situation, I would much rather be there than my competitors being there.
So how important it should be?
Well, I think if you're following good practices now, you're going to be okay for that.
Okay.
And you probably should have a section that would be a featured snippet kind of section. And that's, I think, going to help you get into those AI overviews.
Okay, guys. So how are you using AI in your daily SEO workflows for research, content, link building stuff? Maybe let's start with Carl.
Yeah, so I had a bunch of stuff prepared for this on the link building side of things, but like I'm probably in ChatGPT a couple hours a day at least, both for personal stuff as well as work stuff, and I think that's going to ramp up even more as I'm like really trying to build different tools and automations that we can make things more efficient. But when it comes to link building, like finding people's emails is so much easier now. It's insane. Like, robots are just crawling these. Like the biggest bottleneck we had for link building for the longest time was finding sites to contact them, verifying the emails, finding the emails in the first place, and you just pay armies of VAs to manually go through this. And now there's tools like Apollo, for example, that has 200 plus emails and contacts, and you can filter it by business type, job roles, all of these things, and you can just start verifying those emails and creating different automation workflows with like N8N, for example. So it's like you can plug in something like data for SEO API, which can then look their top ranking pages and then say, hey, we see you're getting a ton of organic traffic from this post. We'd love to create something similar. I have a keyword opportunity I think you guys would love. I think we can get you ranking for this. Are you interested in chatting? Now, that's a very different guest post approach than most, but now because AI is here, we can actually find those keyword gaps pretty easily, and we can also create that level of content to actually rank it. So the response rate for things like this is very, very different. You can also add automations in for infinitely personalizing these messages. So a common one is common issue is you find like a really good email template, an approach, a strategy that works for getting links. But now Google, Gmail, all these platforms are getting so much more strict when it comes to spam and promotions tabs and so on and so forth. You run through the same template 1,000 times, it starts going into spam more and more and more. Well, now you just add in a little ChatGPT module in there, and one can be a perplexity model before that does deep research on the company and then makes a joke about the company name. And then you find something personal about the user, you chuck that in as well. Then you add your pitch at the end and basically set up some kind of spin text to rewrite it 3 times. So you have 100,000 unique email copies now that are sending out. And all of this can be basically automated, and these APIs are relatively cheap to work with. So it scales so much better. What I would avoid here is the kind of automated personalization of like, hey, just write a clever outreach email, or like find their most recent tweet and then make a joke about that. Like that can backfire. but you can also add a reasoning model at the end of it before an email goes out. Pretend you're an English speaking person at this company that receives this email. Does this make sense to you or not? Because sometimes it will scrape things like a list of keywords from their site or the company title tag, whatever. Just chuck it in the email. You read it, it doesn't make any sense. Well, you can add a reasoning model to check for those things. So like the outreach capabilities and possibilities are endless here. Like I'm getting outreach emails where the only reason I know it's an AI email is because they can't get rid of the M-dash. If you figure out your prompting, you there is a way to get rid of it. But like some of the emails we get are just mind blowing. I feel like Carl's reaching out to Carl, like as a human, and it's some Indian guy, like, oh, like we build the best links possible and we do it in a humane way and blah blah. It's like they stole my pitch, and I don't know what kind of prompt they use for that, but it's incredible.
Okay, Kyle.
I do like those emails that are like, "Hey, Kyle, we saw your profile. We love what you're doing at SEO." Like you can almost hear like the computer voice. It's like, nah, A for effort, guys. Truthfully, I open ChatGPT twice a week, I'd say at best. But I do a lot with AI because within Page Optimizer Pro, we've built so much into it. That's where I'm playing with AI tools, and that's kind of like in filtering and clustering keywords. I do a lot of that every day, but it's within the tool, and then I give instructions to somebody to fix it, somebody else to fix it. Is kind of because then it goes to the dev team. So I'm not in it that often as Carl is for sure. To be honest, I use it for ideas when I need a list of ideas. I just love it for that. On list of ideas for this, list of ideas of that, or like I need to write an email that I'm dreading. Like do you ever have like those mental hangups where you can't get something done just because you don't want to do it? Like it's like causing anxiety. I throw my anxiety at ChatGPT, and it'll have it write the email that I don't want to write, and life is so much better. So I kind of, in my day-to-day, maybe it's something like that, where I make it do the things that I hate, and I feel bad. I actually feel bad for it because I feel like I'm giving it my worst task. But I'm polite to it, and maybe that's helping in some way. But yeah, I have noticed those tasks that you really don't want to do, like organizing something. It can help you with that, or generating this like concept, or you're coming up with those things. That's what I use it for more than anything. I'm kidding. I use it every day, but not twice a week. But but it's still for me more the give me this email or give me this concept or give me some ideas about this is generally what I use it for.
Okay, but in terms of SEO process, guys, which parts of the the whole SEO process AI truly help with, and which are still better done manually?
Well, within Pop, we had a thing to create a content plan, like a 2 to 3 month sprint, where it's kind of the keyword research, as well as opportunity research, competitor research, topical clustering, which took about 15 hours, and we have that down to 2 hours now, and we sell that as a feature within Pop. So it's kind of like all your strategy for the next sprint done, and that took forever. It was a 15-hour process. It was a $2,000 kind of thing. In the agency, we can charge now $200 for it. So that's been a huge advancement for us in the last 6 months.
Carl?
Yeah, there's an infinite amount of these like little tasks that used to take a lot of time, and each like micro automation just saves you so much time. So like, for example, when we're doing keyword research, like what do you always do? You look up your competitors. And then, you're looking at Ahrefs, they've got 70,000 keywords they rank for. It's like, okay, what's next? Someone's going to have to go through this garbage. Then you have like, the parent topics, you could export those and the top pages and so on and so forth. Well, you can take the top pages. You can also take their full sitemap if their URLs are properly optimized with the keywords. And then you can feed all of that to ChatGPT, give a description of your business, and have it not only map it out by the search intent. So, this is transactional, this is informational, but you can also ask it to filter out all the crap. So if their strategy is, What does the fire emoji mean? And I know I don't want to do that type of stuff because it doesn't help my business. It'll just cut all of that fluff out, and I'll be left with a much smaller list of pages to go through and actually build a content strategy off of.
Yeah.
Okay, so in general, what is one thing every SEO or marketer should consider changing in strategy this quarter or this year, even in terms of our whole webinar topic?
Well, I think just to what Carl said, there are micro things you can get rid of, and unfortunately, those micro things, we ended up getting rid of 3 employees. We realized that we just don't need somebody to do that task because we can build a tool to do the task. So efficiency is the key, right? Working towards efficiency and those things that are repetitive. If it's repetitive, it can probably be done by an agent or some sort of LLM.
Okay. Carl, anything else?
I think I'm going to steal. I think this is a Kyle quote. Gonna butcher this. I'm sorry, Kyle. But if you're doing bad SEO, AI is just gonna help you do more bad SEO. And I think that's the biggest problem of it is that it is a magical tool. All of these tools are insane. They're so powerful. There's so many things you can do with it, but people are expecting too much out of it. So it's like, before I was paying $500 for an article, and it would take someone 20 hours to do it, and I would have to edit it, spend a couple hours, bounce it back, send emails, communicate, actually look at the article, read it, be like, what's wrong with this? Put myself in the user's shoes and give critical feedback, and then maybe send it to another editor, and then properly format it. Now people are like, write article, please, here a keyword. And then, they publish this type of shit, start doing 400 articles a week. And then it's like, yeah, why'd I get penalized? Well, that's why. You would never really do this in any other scenario. But like somehow this is like messed up a lot of people's brains in terms of how to use it. Like if we go from 10 hours to 1 hour for an article, or even 5 hours, we're doubling efficiency, and that's unheard of. Like that's what you should be focused on. And I do think, Kyle said AI can't do SEO for you. I think it can at a certain point, but it's not going to do it automatically, fully on your behalf. It's the same way, when you build a team, you build SOPs, you build processes. So, there's probably not going to be one AI content tool that's a fit for everyone. Whatever tool it is, you put in a keyword and a perfect article comes out, but you can still start to automate it internally when you break it down into smaller pieces. So, you build out basically a training file that explains what your site is, what your business is. You give it, hundreds of articles that have been created by professional SEOs about your business. So then it recognizes those patterns and uses that as training, not the 7 billion random posts off Reddit, LinkedIn, and eZine articles, and then, you start breaking things down into tiny micro processes. So it's not, hey, you wrote this article, now check it before I publish it. That's not the prompt you're giving it. Like, okay, if I gave this to a real editor, what processes is an editor going to go through? Well, one check is grammar and spelling. Another is looking at the facts. The other is sentence structuring. Then you have the copywriting. Like all of these are different parts of the workflow that you need to be thinking about, and having AI run those separately. So building these things does take a lot of time, and you're not going to have an all-in-one solution, but you'd be shocked at how much more efficiently you can do these. I'd still have a human involved with pretty much all of these. But I think, we're also in the point where a lot of humans that previously we might have hired now are not part of the equation.
So to sum it up, if you have trouble using your brain daily, you will have trouble using AI effectively.
The quote was, if you're bad at SEO, AI can will only help you do bad SEO faster.
Yes, there you go.
Okay. So Carl, as the organizer of SEO Estonia? What makes this event stand out, and why should people attend this year or the next year or the next year?
Yeah, so you've been a couple of times. I've got this awesome Linkhouse T-shirt from there. So that's definitely one perk. It's one of my favorite shirts. It's gold and everything. But SEO Estonia, Kyle and I created this because we've been to hundreds of SEO conferences combined, and not just SEO, all kinds of business conferences. And we kind of took the best parts of all of those and tried to make it into one event. So both of us know that the real value is in the networking. So we put a lot of emphasis in that. We know, if you're having a good time and if you feel good in a space, then it becomes a more memorable thing. You're in a better mood. You're going to be more social, all of these things. So we really focus on the user experience and putting ourselves in their shoes. So like, for example, we know people's attention spans are a lot shorter these days. So our talks are shorter. And we really we work with speakers for them to present one key idea and, get it over with. And then they take part of the event. So if I like Kyle's 20-minute quick idea and his logic, well, I'm going to meet him right after this talk on the break, or I'm going to have a drink with him at the bar and get more information there. Every year we also have a theme for the talks. So this year's theme is, how does this make me money now? Which means it's very, very practical. Every presentation has a money slide, which is, what is the return on investment on this presentation if you actually put this to life? So, in my case, if I'm going to be talking about the Parasite SEO and how we're doing that, then I can actually show numbers of how much we're charging clients to do this, and what kind of revenue this brought in for us, what kind of revenue this bring in for our clients, and so on and so forth. So a lot of things like that, and it's in Tallinn, it's in Estonia during the summer. The sun never goes down. It's cheap. We have amazing food, Michelin quality restaurants for basically free. It's a beautiful city to be in. There's so many benefits. We have 18 speakers this year. We have 2 different masterminds, lots of networking events. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, in terms of food in Estonia, to be completely honest, I didn't expect much about it, but one of the best Vietnamese cuisines that I seriously, the best 4, or one of the best, maybe top 5 that I've ate, including my visit in Vietnam, was actually in Tallinn. So cuisine is amazing. Maybe not Estonian, but it is, and the dynamics of the conference is great. The brainstorming, the networking, and integration are at the highest level. To be fair, I have great memories of the whole trip. I don't know if I like Estonia better during the day or during the night, but yeah, I completely agree with you, Carl. Yeah,
Thomas, if I can add one thing too, for the deluxe ticket mastermind. We're actually going to learn how to create AI agents. Like, that's actually what it's a workshop into a mastermind. And so the first half of it is, this is how you build an AI agent. And then the idea is the second half that you go and everyone's going to share what they built, what they're using it for, so you can brainstorm how to make yourself more efficient and get things done. I think that alone is basically worth the price of admission, so that don't get left behind. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to build an AI agent yet. I need to know it. I'm excited to go to my own conference so I can learn how to do it.
But do you have deluxe ticket to?
I do have a deluxe ticket.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of stuff that we're trying to do in this conference. Like, this will directly impact your business. This will have direct impact. You're not going to be like, oh, what should I do? Is this worthwhile? You'll know it's worthwhile, and you know what you're going to need to do.
Okay, so the best question today will win a deluxe ticket, if I'm not correct. I think I'm correct. Yeah. So let's go to the Q&A maybe, because we have a bunch of questions. Now we have all in the chat. Yeah. So let's start with Jeff. Can you recommend any specific softwares for tracking AI overview and how our clients appear in them?
I just got a ping from a guy on LinkedIn. They just built a tool. It was called SEO2, as in the number 2, SEO2 LLM. I think it was app.seo2llm.com. It's a brand new tool. I don't know of any other tools that are actually doing that, that they're monitoring ranking within LLMs. So I haven't checked it out yet, but I literally just got a ping from the guy the other day. So I would check that tool out.
Okay.
I've got a
Jeff?
huge list of these. We
Yeah.
have Tesseract, we have Graphite, Citation Labs, Bright Edge, SEMrush is releasing something. Answerly also asked AI SEO Tracker. Surfer is trialing one. Surfer SEO just released one. I think it's in beta, so it's not released to all of the accounts yet. One of my accounts has it, the other one doesn't, but that one's pretty good. But all of these are pretty early stages, so they're not they're not able to track insane amounts of them, and the frequency is a little, it's like weekly or something pretty often. But I do think Tesseract is the most popular one and the most promising one right now. It will be interesting to see how important this actually is in the long run, because if I open my ChatGPT and ask for the best SEO agency, and Kyle opens his ChatGPT and asks for the best SEO agency, mine's going to say Smash Digital. His is going to say High Voltage. So like the amount of personalization and like butt licking these tools are doing is, it's unique, and we don't really know how that personalization data is going to be tracked and how much it's going to impact answers. And I think Google's going to be doing the same with AI overviews, and they're going to be reading your emails and looking at your Chrome behavior, and then personalizing the AI mode and AI overviews based on that as well.
Okay, another one from Jeff. Sundar Pichai was recently on Lex Friedman podcast. He hinted that Google search may move to a paid model without ads. Any thoughts?
No chance.
That's funny.
No chance. You can't change your entire business model.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a quick answer. So, Carl, do you want to add something?
No, I don't see I'm not CEO of Google, so I've not spent huge amounts of time thinking this, but I don't see a world where that's possible. Like they're already struggling to figure out the Google ad side and how to integrate that into AI overviews and so on and so forth. And like any business model ever, there's in the AI race, there's going to be one winner. Like in e-commerce, it was Amazon. In search, it was Google. And that comes out to, there's Uber, there's Airbnb. You got to be the loss leader. You got to, dominate the market, and that's the play Google's going to have to take. Not, hey, we're going to charge $30 a month. Like, good luck. And then, maybe Ahrefs' Yep will be the new thing if they start to play that game.
Okay, third one from Jeff. What things that used to work have started to work again? I think it's related to link building stuff, but no pressure. Interpret as you wish.
The other thing I would say there is that it wasn't that it used to work; it's most things people just forgot about. And if you go through the no-no list, Google's no-no list, all that stuff works. Like, there's a reason it's on the no-no list. It's because they really can't stop it.
Carl, maybe one major thing across the whole link building that used to work have started to work again, or there's no such a thing?
I think Kyle's point might be better, that it's not that they didn't work anymore; they were just forgotten, or people got too scared to use them. So like Parasite SEO was a big deal a couple of years ago, then it kind of died off. I'm obviously all in on that, and I think that's back, and it's going to be back even more. And we're going to see more people pushing it. Another one, this is a personal thing, PBNs. Like I'm 1,000% certain PBNs are more effective than most of the link building people are doing now. Like these guest post farms full of casino crap and whatever, like those are so obvious. If you build an actual PBN yourself, you're going to be better off.
Okay, Kyle, you mentioned you'd just started testing for AI overviews. Any tips on testing these? It seems like the AIOs are so variable, it's hard to nail down tests.
We're just information gathering right now. We're just like trying different search categories and seeing what appears. So we're not really doing any insertion tests or anything like that right now. Just information.
Okay. Pile Korobov, the general question, how has AI changed the way you approach link building, Carl?
I think we already answered that in the first part, didn't we? Same with the next one. Mentions are answered.
Yeah.
Go to Perplexity.
Yeah. True. Okay. So maybe Steen Jansen, what is your tip to obtain backlinks from high quality website that don't usually sell backlinks or guest posts? Call Carl, yeah?
It all comes down to value exchanges. Like, realize there's another person sitting at the other side of your screen, and it's work for them. Whatever you're asking them, they've got to go in and actually do it. They're going to log into WordPress, put in their 2-factor authentication, like find a place to actually make the change. This all takes time. They could be doing literally anything else in the world. So how do you position this in a way that it makes it a hell yes for them? So some examples for this are, like I mentioned with the automated outreach, one thing we do is we look at a site. Let's say we take SEOestonia.com, and then we find a keyword that it's able to rank for, but doesn't have a content piece on. So, for example, if someone here wants to get a link from SEOestonia.com, I know for a fact I should have an article on that site called Best SEO Conferences, like 9 best SEO conferences. And I would list SEO Estonia number 1. I would put my other conference, Chiang Mai SEO, at number 2. And then I would put some other garbage conferences at number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's a really important thing for me to do. I haven't had the time to do it. If someone writes that whole thing for me and then says, hey, I've got an SEO tool for rank tracking, can I slip a link in there? I'd be like, sure. Like, if you make it natural, I don't care. If that post now starts ranking, getting me traffic, I'll do that any day. So we really try and look at it from that perspective. On other ways you can position this is we look at sites that we look at pages that have lost traffic. So you can take a site like Backlinko, and it's like, oh, this page used to get 20,000 visitors a month. It now gets 1,000. What if we do a full refresh for them and literally do all the work for them? It's like, hey, I know you can gain 10,000 visitors a month back on this. You just haven't touched the article for a couple of years. So things like that. And then really shifting the link building strategy. So much of it now has been guest posting. But one of my favorite link building strategies of all time has been linkable assets. So linkable assets just scale like crazy. If we're doing the high-end link building, real high authority sites, we can do like 10, 15, 20 links a month. And that's on the expensive side. Like that takes a lot of work, and that's for competitive industries. Now, I've written articles on my own affiliate site that are like, social media marketing statistics, for example. And in 3 years, it got 700 referring domains organically from ranking for the statistics. So like, that's an incredible thing to do. Now with deep research, Perplexity, cranking out these statistic pages is a lot easier. But then also looking at other types of linkable assets. So, if you have a SEO agency, you could have a Google SERP extractor tool. You have a paid link predictor tool. You have a keyword research tool. You can create a meta title preview tool. You can create an AI overview optimization tool. And many of these things you can basically no code using Cursor, Replit, whatever, and just get something out there, start ranking for those terms and pulling in links. Some of it is, basic JavaScript like bookmarklets. Incredibly valuable, super easy to do with AI now. And
okay,
every single industry has these.
Yeah, so another one, because we lack of time a bit, but maybe last 3 questions for you guys. Katsper asks, if AI-generated overviews are trained on content it later replaces in SERPs and simultaneously ignore UGC like Reddit or LinkedIn, are we witnessing the emergence of epistemic monopoly where visibility is granted not to relevance or originality, but to what the model chooses to echo?
I think real fast, that's the heart of the whole thing, why that relationship that Google has between content creators, they can't get rid of because they need that original content, and they can't. Otherwise, it's just a facsimile of a facsimile, and that won't produce anything new. So they're going to have to continue to figure out a way to monetize content for people. Otherwise, it will become that's what the problem will become, and I don't think they're going to let that happen.
Okay, another one from Kacper. As link detection tools evolve and DA metrics become increasingly gained, what are the reliable signals that still define a high-quality backlink in Google's eyes today?
Just one little thing. I've said this for a long time. I think Google should actually count clicks on links. It would be perfect. And I think they can extrapolate based on Chrome metrics on how many people are actually clicking on something and give links value that way. Because that's the whole point, right? That somebody actually went there. You know, this page says that that's a good place to go, and somebody actually followed the advice, which means they trusted that page to go over there. I think that would be the best metric. Just do clicks and then not have to worry about spam ever again.
Carl? Any thoughts?
Don't think it's that simple. I remember the days when I was gaming YouTube, and people were using millions and millions of residential proxies to fake high retention views that watched through the entire video, and mixing up user agents and devices and countries and languages and all these things. So like that feels like it'll be a lot easier to game than.
No, because through Chrome they can probably identify who's real and who's not with a degree of certainty. And then essentially you have super users, and they represent 100,000 people. And the idea is that their behavior then monitors what is a good user experience, what is a good click, what is a good anything.
Okay. Okay, guys. So maybe the last one or last two. Kati, do you have any tips on how to respond to nervous clients who frequently ask whether it's still worth investing in link building given the rise of AI?
As we discussed earlier, I don't think there's really much of a rise of AI just yet. It's still the basics. It's still what we need to do. There's still too many searches just to ignore what's going on in Google.
So we should educate the client properly and.
Yeah, 0.27% of search is AI search.
So I do these calls several times a week. I get this asked almost every day now. And the key things are, one, I refer to the statistics that ChatGPT is still, it's growing fast, but it's a blip. And I think the statistic was like it's 1.8% of the queries of Google. But then that's if I use ChatGPT and I'm like, I had this thing for breakfast, what's the calories? Then my next query is, and add the macros. Like, these are not real searches. And then it's like, hey, would you like some more recipe ideas for tomorrow's breakfast? I'm like, sure. And then it'll reply back, and then I'll say thanks. And then these queries are all counted to as well. So that's not even eating into the search at all. And then the second part I will tell your clients is, you can watch the replay of this, is that no matter how you look at AI search, it gets its answers from somewhere. And that answer might as well be you. And so much of that is going to be down to links. Whether it's you ranking on the first page to be included in the AI overviews, whether it's you being included in the training data in a meaningful way, it all comes back to links one way or another. And Google search in itself isn't going anywhere. It hasn't gone anywhere yet. So by you not investing in link building, you're just leaving money on the table.
Okay, so let's go to the last one. A very serious sounding question from Kacper. With featured snippets, SGE, and LLMs all prioritizing structured, semantically clear content, how we do avoid turning the internet into a giant machine, readable template, and its SEO creativity dying in the process?
You write first and then you schema. You don't schema first and then you write. So I don't really see that as a horrible. It's a good question, but we've been talking about this for the entire time I've been in SEO. Is it just going to be all the same content? And then it's not. Like essentially you get 5 people to write 5 different things, they'll write 5 different articles about the same thing. So write first, then schema, and I don't think this is going to be much of an issue.
Okay, so guys, thank you for all your questions. Thanks to our audience. Together with Carl and Carl, we will choose the best 3 questions and let you know by email that you registered by on the webinar. Yeah, thank you all for joining us today. If you enjoyed the session, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the Linkhouse channel, follow Kyle and Carl on LinkedIn, and don't forget SEO Estonia takes place July 9, I think 9 to 11. Yeah. So mark your calendars now. Tickets are still available, but they are selling fast, so grab yours soon. And yeah, thanks again, Kyle. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So quick finisher from my side as well.
Yeah.
I'd love to give away the SEO Estonia ticket on the spot.
Yeah.
So I think Jeff really crushed it with the questions today. So I'd love to give him a free deluxe ticket to SEO Estonia. And then a quick kind of call to action from our side as well. So Linkhouse has been supporting SEO Estonia for the first 2 years. Really appreciate it. So to your audience, we're going to give out a little discount as well. So if you use the coupon Linkhouse, you get 20% off all the tickets. And our prices are actually going up tomorrow. So there is a price increase. And this coupon is valid for the next 24 hours. So if you buy the tickets now, you get it quite a bit cheaper. And yeah, hope to see you there in July.
Yeah. Hope to see you guys soon. And my finisher is about bún bò Nam Bo. Kyle is also my favorite dish from Vietnamese cuisine. Bún bò Nam Bo.
I know that was for Carl, and I had to slide in.
Yeah. So once again, thank you guys, and see you soon on the Chiang Mai or in the Estonia maybe. So yeah, thank you for today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
All right. Good stuff. Fuck me.
It's took much.
That made it on the recording nicely.
Perfect.